Are you ready, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
All right. Call this meeting to order at 9:31, Monday, June 17th, 2024. We're here to have a discussion on weeds. We don't want to get down in the weeds, but we want to talk about weeds today, okay? And the supervisor position, or the temporary supervisor position. Commissioner, you've been kind of working on this. You want to start us off?
I met with Public Works and Carol and Shelby last week. Carol's willing to step in as a temp to continue the reports necessary and supervise the department until we decide where we're going to go with that position. There is a lot of work and knowledge that needs to be available for those reports. And Carol, you'd explain that a little bit.
Especially at the end of the year report. So, and the report will come to you also in the department bag, saying how many road miles we sprayed, what product, how many gallons, locations, and things like that. So there's so reporting, especially at the end of the year. And then the contractor that we use, Micah, he does a great job. He takes care of his chem log and everything. He keeps track of what he's spraying and where on our county roads. He's going to be working in Shoshone again this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And he's hoping to get quite a lot more done. But he's already done quite a bit. In fact, this year they got the St. Joe done on the main road. The St. Joe River Road he did last week. So I was glad to see that done. The railroad grade over there needs to be done. It has a two-wheel drive over it. It needs to be done this year too, if we can. So.
I had a question, with roads.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that roads can take this over at a certain time?
So we had talked about that a little bit in our meeting.
Mm-hmm.
We are definitely willing to help the county out. If it needs to come into our department, we're open to looking at that. Right now, being in the middle of the spring season,
yeah, exactly.
Things are already in motion. They've had the spray days. They're out there spraying.
Mm-hmm.
One of my biggest concerns that I would like you to all think about is if it does end up going into the roads department for management, there would need to be some time. Because weeds and roads have been very separate since 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So from my time coming on, I came on to replace, Carol, and Shelby came on to replace Carol in her other capacity. And since that time, everything's been very split.
Exactly.
So a lot of knowledge would need to be gained and shared,
okay.
And some time to do that, because the weeds department is very, very heavily structured by Idaho code.
Mm-hmm.
And with the chemicals and things like that, it's important to have somebody knowledgeable in the field overseeing it to reduce liability for the county. But if right now, if Carol is willing to come on,
mm-hmm.
depending on what the board decides to do with posting a position, I don't know what that will look like, but that might at least give a little bit of time to sort things out, because right now Shelby, I believe, is done at the end of this month. So
and that's what we would probably need somebody for, in the interim right now for sure, because we just can't.
Jump right into it with our Idaho
and
codes.
it might be a little different if we were somewhat in the off season,
starting winter.
But like Carol said, the reporting that they have to do with the Department of Agriculture and things like that are very technical. That would be like handing it to anybody who didn't have any knowledge of it. And I think that would almost be borderline reckless. But working forward, I think we could work with the board to kind of see what
it look like.
Would look like, yes.
Okay. Yeah, because it looks to me it's mostly a lot just roads is what you're working on.
We do.
One of the things I wanted to ask Peggy is Title III funds or Title I funds. How does that, since it is part of the roads department, and they do it's fire prevention for roads.
And you can go. There were several ways in the past that we, as long as we had advertised it. We had it in the road department. We had a line item years ago that when we went and sprayed roads, they kept track of what the roads were sprayed from, and then we charged that line item. The title $3 was also used on any forest roads years ago. So we had to keep track of what road that was, and then they charged it to that line item. The only reason why I kind of came down is trying to go forward with this New Year's budget. I'm trying to get a feel what you guys were all going to do, so I know how to budget. That's why I'm kind of sitting here trying to figure out which way to go on this. But if we set it up, I can add that line item to her road department real easy. If I have a contract, I don't know if it's going contract or employee. I'm not sure which way you guys are going to go. But
that's what we probably need to talk to you, which would be the better.
Well, exactly. I need to know if you're going to if Carol's coming back as a contract person, that position as a contract person, then we need to get that in the budget and advertised. So that's kind of why I'm just down here listening. So I need decisions.
So you didn't need benefits.
Right.
So it'd be unbenefited.
So a contract would be probably the better.
But I don't want to be 1099 or anything. I'd rather be an employee.
Well, an employee see, now I came back I'm not taking any benefits from the county.
Yeah.
So an employee you're required to, but then it comes down to how much time, Carol. Are you a benefited employee or you're not a benefited employee? So this is kind of where I'm just listening. Yeah. It's not my decision.
Yeah.
What would your preference be?
I'd rather be a regular employee than a 1099er.
And can she not request not to have benefits?
Well, it depends on the hours. I mean, again, this is...
So if she was over 20 hours and was eligible... She could be a
seasonal worker.
Yeah, that's what... Yeah.
So then she's not a benefited employee.
Okay.
And I wouldn't consistently be over the hours for Percy or anything like that.
Okay.
Consistently, so...
What's the maximum for Percy? Is it...
I think it's 21 hours.
20?
Or 25 hours.
Okay. Yeah. So it'd be about 20 hours, somewhere around there.
Okay.
So you would be a seasonal worker.
Yes.
Okay. So then you would have your taxes taken out.
Okay.
Yeah. Then well, hopefully someone will, will float the positions. Hopefully someone will apply, and I'm just a temporary stopgap during the weed season. Hopefully. So, but if not, there would be some hours involved in the winter also. So for planning and conferences, education, that's when the continuing education happens in January. So there would be some hours during the, for whoever you put on.
Yeah.
They're going to have to work in the winter too. So,
some hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we're talking about a seasonal worker. We'll need to figure out how we're going to come up with the salary. Are we going to? This is coming out of what Shelby's line item that she's vacating, right?
Yeah.
Well, it'd be Fund 27. Yeah.
Fund 27.
Yeah. I didn't print it out, but you have Shelby's.
Okay.
Yeah, we can figure that.
So we need to do that. Is the commission okay with having one commissioner work with Public Works and Carol and figure out the details?
Yes.
On the.
I would be okay with that.
You okay? Are you okay with continuing?
Yeah. They would note that I'm going to be gone in January, so.
No, I mean just continuing to get this.
This going. Okay.
Get this contract. Get this employment contract worked out.
Yep.
And then we will have to start discussing advertising. But when's the weed season really die off? Not to make a pun.
October.
Okay. Is the commission okay with letting this go until about October, and at which point we should make a decision, or do we want to make it? do we need to go ahead and,
Are we making a decision whether we're gonna have Carol step in as temp?
we'll make that, but
Oh,
then
okay.
I'm asking for until October, or are we gonna start advertising?
Peggy probably we need a budget figure. We probably need to know sooner for our budget.
Okay. So
Right.
we,
And I think we need to, have we posted it? We need to post it just for
well,
noticing.
I think we can put her as a temp and then post,
Oh, okay.
because we've done that before, if she's
Okay.
filling the hole while we post. I think I was just asking for direction
Okay.
from the board. Are we talking about posting, trying to get all this settled before the new budget?
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have.
I agree with you. Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Makes total sense.
Does that work for you?
That'd be great.
I mean, you're the lady that just keeps coming back
I
to this
know,
town.
I know. It's getting you wrong,
I'm like,
I'll tell
hey,
ya.
Carol, how's retirement? What retirement?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah.
All right. So I would entertain a motion to offer Carol the temp position while we work out the details and advertise and do everything we need to do for a permanent solution.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion?
No.
Carol, last chance.
It's good. No, I'm good for temporary. I mean, I prefer that we find, we advertise and find someone else, but
Just to
Thank
just for the stopgap,
Going
because
smooth.
this is the
Yeah.
Busy
sort of the height
time.
of the weed season, so
Yeah.
we need somebody to step in, but
Thank you.
I'd rather just consider it like a temporary, short term.
Okay.
So,
So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. We've just asked you to be our temporary person while we work on, and then I guess Public Works will work with you and discuss if we're going to try and make
Figure out
this,
how that will look.
if we're going to create a permanent position, or when we do, where we're going to put it.
Now we need to discuss pay and everything, right? Or we want to.
Well, that's what we could authorize her to
Okay.
work
Okay.
out
I
and
see
then
what
come
you're doing.
back, so we don't have to do
Okay.
that in a public
Okay.
Yeah.
meeting.
All right.
Okay. So, all right. Peggy, can you think of anything else we need to do to get the ball rolling?
Well, I think the balls just got started, so, and then we'll discuss wages later.
Well, yeah, I think
with
we've
Tracy and Carol, so I know.
Tracy can work it out because
Yeah.
Okay.
as Carol is a wealthy retiree and she doesn't really need much.
We do get her to volunteer a lot.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I know.
Peggy.
You see that?
We volunteer on a lot of things together, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do stay busy that way.
And we appreciate you stepping in.
Yeah.
Sure. My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I care about the weed department.
Yeah.
I care what happens out there in our environment. So,
And you still have all that knowledge.
yeah.
Yeah.
They do. I've been at it for about 30 years now, so.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
All right. Well, with that, I think we are adjourned.